What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Friday's Voice of Bedlam Live. I'm your host, Andrew Santoro. We got a great show planned out for you guys today. So thanks for checking us out on the All In Sports Talk Network. Remember, guys, you can download the app from Apple or onto your Google phone now. So 24-hour stream, talk sports. Now, we're the NFL show, but let's get to John. John, what's going on, man?
Well, what's going on is we have made it through the week, and somebody in our esteemed colleagues over here maybe called it when the Patriots
took down the Texans 27-0.
I'm sorry. Yeah, was that I believe that other team had a goosey.
Well, John was the only one to take
New
England, who was starting Jacoby Brissett, third-string quarterback, rookie, third-rounder out of USC, who had to start due to Jimmy Garoppolo going down. He took them over the Houston Texans in his jokerchoker.com pro football pick'em poker. Therefore, John is the only one after Thursday night who's still alive. I don't know if that's completely true.
No.
But I'm definitely out of it because I was going for a flush. But let's tell these guys about jokerchoker.com. Now, this is the first ever pro football pick'em that mixes poker hands with it. So if you guys are into poker and you like to do NFL pick'ems, you've got to go to jokerchoker.com now. Use promo code Bedlam and get in on all the action. So you guys will be able to play for free with our promo code of Bedlam, BEDLAM, and you'll be able to win real cash prizes. So go to jokerchoker.com now.
Check them out, and let's check in with our daily breakdown.
All right, so we're going to start out today's daily breakdown, recapping last night's action that we have already referenced. That is the undefeated Patriots defeating the 2-1, now 2-1 Texans to the tune of 27-0. Now, Gronkowski did play in this game, but only limitedly. The Patriots basically won, just by playing smart football, being good on defense, being good on special teams, and keeping Jacoby Brissett out of trouble. But now we're going to talk about the game, but some breaking news in this matchup. Third round draft pick, Jacoby Brissett, rookie quarterback, third string for New England, third string, Brady suspension, Garoppolo injury. Well, you can add Brissett to that list with a torn ligament in his right hand. Patriots looking to sign a quarterback.
Yeah, there was talks about Vic, I heard, being tossed around. Honestly, they just need a quarterback for one game. Maybe.
Yeah, Brady is coming back week 5.
Or do they just keep the money in their pocket, use Julian Edelman?
See, the only thing with using Edelman is it's dangerous. Like, he could get hurt. Like, just like I don't want Odell Beckham deep back. I mean, and I know they protect the quarterbacks more. Maybe not, because, he'd have different rules on him, actually. But I just think with him not knowing his way through the pocket and stuff, I think he'd get crushed, like on the blind side or something.
Well, honestly,
I think he'd be in an injury risk. He is their emergency quarterback, though.
Now, I just don't understand, because then they'll have to cut somebody to make room for that.
Probably Brissett. Probably just cut Brissett. If he needs surgery and he's going to be on IR, or no, right there. If they go on IR, that'll free up the roster spot. Yeah, they'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but how serious is the
Well, it's a tear. Period? I don't know, but he's the third string quarterback anyway. But regardless, Brady still needs a backup when Brady comes back.
Exactly.
If Garoppolo's going to be out.
So they still need to make this purchase.
I'm sorry, I do not really like the Patriots, but I got to say this really speaks to Bill Belichick. Like, I never believed that the Patriots were going to win with Jacoby Brissett, let alone 27-0 on national television.
I felt it because they just they find ways to win at home. That home environment brings a special environment for all teams because it's your home. You're defending your home. in a sense. So
unless you play at Arizona, then they pump in fake crowd noise.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it gets a little loud in the desert.
Georgia Dome.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, because you know why? The sound system's great.
No, not the desert. Georgia Dome.
You
I mean Arizona Falcons, Atlanta.
Falcons?
That's what I meant to say.
In the Georgia Dome?
Yeah.
Well,
no, they got popped for it like 2 years ago for pumping noise in.
Well, oh shoot.
Yeah, remember? That's what I'm talking about. I said Arizona because I confused the birds
for the most part. Yeah.
No, only a couple of people have been caught. But let's get back to this game and let's talk about the other side of the ball, that being the Houston Texans. Now, first year starting quarterback, free agent acquisition Brock Osweiler. According to NFL.com, Osweiler was picked off for the third straight week, failing to see Patriots linebacker Jamie Collins lurking on one throw. Osweiler missed a few other throws, but mostly looked confused against the Pats defense that got pressure on him without sending any
0
extra
points.
rushers. So just with their front seven, they were pressuring. I cannot talk tonight, John.
That's all right.
Pressuring Osweiler.
Yeah, it was a tough game. Honestly, there wasn't too much production. There was 56 yards from their top receiver, it being Hopkins, and honestly, it wasn't a good offensive game, obviously, with the 0 points. But not only that, the defense was on the field so long that these plays, it could have been a low-scoring game, but honestly, because of how lopsided the defense stayed on the field for Houston, it became their downfall, because once fatigue starts settling in, there's not much you can do, and the plays that weren't working in the beginning will now start working, and then the numbers just kept lighting up, and then before you know it, you're still looking at a goose egg. So, but honestly, all that money that Houston spent obviously does not look that great now. It looks like they got exposed by Belichick and crew, which you most definitely are going to bet any amount of money on that teams around the league that have to face them upcoming are taking notes.
Now, Osweiler had 191 yards on 41 attempts last night. Now, but I want to kick things back over to the Patriots. And now let's really sit here and think about this. Now, the Patriots were always a crown jewel as of the past decade or so, even more than that.
Okay.
We're always the crown jewel 15 years of the NFL. Tom Brady is the poster boy. The fall from grace with the scandals.
Well,
now, with all this
AFC
going on,
East.
with all this going on, the Patriots won a game with a third-string quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo was taking them all over town. Matt Castle won 11 games, however many years ago. Brady is coming back. Now, I almost feel like betting on the Patriots because I just feel it's like, for them this year again, now with the way they're playing. I mean, Gronk was only a limited participation,
Correct.
And so are the Patriots going to be in the winner's circle in February?
They find ways to win, as I said.
They don't even have Brady.
Without Brady, I think honestly the team was playing with something a little bit extra, kind of like almost like if they lost a teammate, which they did lose a teammate,
chip on the
but
shoulder.
So they got to play for their brother in a sense, and that's the mentality that I kind of see out of the gameplay.
I'm just saying, when you're 3-0 without Brady, without Garoppolo, without Gronkowski,
It just goes to also show that the coaching
Bill Belichick absolutely
is just a top notch.
Bill Belichick is a madman. He is an absolute madman. I put out a meme this week. It was the first world problems. The white girl crying, and it said when you realize the Patriots played a third string quarterback, and won.
Find one where Belichick is chewing gum, right? And it's like, give me some chewing gum, a stick, and a ball, and I'll make a quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
And you'll MacGyver it.
Yeah. Exactly.
MacGyver's out of situations. Like, no
he MacGyver's out of offensive lines. I mean, let's not forget, too, Bill Belichick, he was on the Giants coaching staff, coaching over, Lawrence Taylor, Harry Carson, Carl Banks, Pepper Johnson. He really made that team. George Martin. I mean, for both of the Phil Simms and the Hostetler Super Bowls, and he's really credited with making the 3-4 defense what it is today. And he basically did that solely because of Lawrence Taylor when they drafted him out of North Carolina in 1981.
I'm sure he's glad to see there's a lot of LTs out there in the form of, let's see, I would like to say Kuechly. Kuechly's a
yeah,
piece.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can give it to Kuechly.
Cushions.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There's not too many, but there are a few.
Too many. I'm trying to think of who.
I would say Thomas Davis too, man.
Thomas Davis. Yeah.
He's past his prime though, but he's still doing it.
Yeah, he
got an interception. What was that? Week 2, he had an interception. I believe. Week 1.
Week 1. Yep, off a tip pass from.
Played the Super Bowl with the. Played the Super Bowl with all the screws in his arm.
Week 2. Sorry, yes, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah, it was week 2. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're doing. And then I got a little confused because I'm trying to also think about week 3 going into fantasy for myself because I'm like, I don't want to lose because that Bedlam's fantasy trophy is coming home with me.
All right, dude.
Bedlam Live.
Let's hear a little fantasy update minute with John on Voice of Bedlam Live.
Voice of Bedlam Live.
Going into this week, from just our point of view over here, we do PPR in our league, and the big question is right now with Colin. Colin's
King
undefeated.
Kojo Colin Johnson.
He's undefeated. His brother's undefeated. Sean. And then not only that, myself.
I'm at 500.
I see, but honestly, you might be the Phoenix that can but you gotta make some moves in your roster or just hope for
my auto drafted team. Yeah, I'm gonna win the league with an auto drafted team.
That's and then you can change your name to auto draft. Now, see, also to give you an update, just to kind of give you guys a funny inside look here. Sarah, who took over one of the teams,
auto drafted team.
Another auto drafted team.
Thank you, ESPN.com.
Yes,
thank you.
Yes, and then not only that, dealt with downed quarterbacks. Grabbed Jimmy Garoppolo.
Ooh.
Downed. Yes. All
Who
right.
did you have before Garoppolo?
Tony Romo.
Oh,
yeah, and Tom Brady. So it's like,
gotta love that auto draft.
So I said, if you don't take my advice and grab Joe Flacco, and if you get Joe Flacco hurt now because she eventually listened and was like, yeah, Joe Flacco is a good choice, you're right. And I was like, all right, I told you.
Yeah, he's had some comeback games too. That's how you get those points.
Exactly, and Steve Smith is going to have some good games
if healthy. Yeah.
Yes. Well, he's pretty healthy right now. Did you see some of the plays that he made last week?
I saw the highlight reel on ESPN. I didn't really give that game too much.
He's still making some moves, so I give him some credit. Yes, can he finish out the rest of the season? That is the big question. But I think he can, barring any injury. But honestly, so I said, if Joe Flacco goes and gets hurt, you have to change your name now to the place where quarterbacks die.
Yeah, that's what she should do. Yeah, she could be Cleveland. Yeah. She should be Cleveland,
or
the place.
Believeland.
Believeland, the place quarterbacks go to die.
Believeland. But honestly, going into this week, people, divisional games, as we learned last week, are never a given. You cannot bank on those because divisional games, you have the most homework on that opponent. So see now,
especially
now
with
it's like
Bradford coming in from Minnesota and taking out Green Bay.
Oh yes, I did not expect that, honestly, but I did think that Sam Bradford needed to come out with guns blazing. And did I expect it? Yes, but did I think that it was actually going to happen? No. And did I reap the benefits of that because I had Stephon Diggs? Yes.
Now, but Adrian Peterson has been moved to IR with a torn meniscus. So the question I have, sticking with fantasy, what is someone with AP on their roster? Who do you think they might be able to acquire?
Right now, Mike Asiata of Minnesota would be available. Maybe Fozzie Whitaker of Carolina. Him and Cameron Artis-Payne are splitting carries while Jonathan Stewart's out. Then
torn hamstring for Jonathan Stewart.
Yep. Yes. So he's going to be out a couple weeks. But there's also a good chance that you can possibly get into like maybe Kristen Michael.
I'd put my money on Kristen Michael
because with the split between him and Thomas Rawls, that's a pretty good.
You think Amir Abdul's already been picked up in most leagues?
Yeah, but he's hurt. So yeah, if you pick him up, you're getting an injured player right now. So
no, I didn't realize Amir Abdul was hurt.
Yeah. So, but right now, just to make sure, I looked it up. Mike Asiata is available. Derrick Henry available. And
what are the percentages of availability?
Availability?
Yes, in most ESPN leagues.
Oh, that would be.
Let's see if we can pull this up on the fly.
Shoo!
Now, who are we looking for here, John?
We're looking at Kristen Michael. And I'm looking at Mike Asiata. The research. All right, so 67%
owned. Okay, this is from ESPN.com. 67% owned.
And then Mike Asiata. Sorry, I almost messed up your name. I'm sorry, sir. 27.2%.
All right, so really get out to that waiver wire. You might have a chance of getting a Christina Michael, but Asiata, I mean, only owned in about a quarter of ESPN.com leagues. So head over there now and add them to your waiver.
Derrick
if you had AP.
80.5 for Derrick Henry. He's not picked up. I'm like, what?
Wait, he's not picked up?
In our league, yes. And, he's owned 80% in
but not
other
in
leagues.
Okay, all right.
Which is kind of crazy.
All right, but let's keep things moving and stick with real football on Voice of Bedlam Live.
Voice of Bedlam Live.
Now, you guys can hit us up at voiceofbedlam.com. You can go over to facebook.com/VOBpod. Hit me up on Twitter at Andrew Bedlam. We'll be on the All In Sports Talk Network every Tuesday and Friday night live. So make sure you guys hit us up. Check out all the other great shows on the All In Sports Network and hit up their YouTube page too. They're working out some cool little videos. I know they got some stuff going on Sunday that you guys should check out. But let's get back in between the lines, and I have got to talk in the next part of our daily breakdown. Odell Beckham versus Josh Norman, round 2.
Ding, 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 ding.
Voice of Bedlam Live.
So, all right. Now, is Odell Beckham going to keep his head on his shoulders? Because, I see now, as a Giants fan and also just as a normal person, I really have always thought that Norman, started it basically. And then I thought Odell, I said, yeah, I don't care. I have nothing wrong with what Odell did at all. I don't care. But he did come out looking like the bad guy. So Norman is probably going to be able to maybe get away with a little bit more, I think. And is Odell going to keep his head on his shoulders? And if Norman's getting in his ear, is he going to keep his head straight this time?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Because I think there's one thing that if once you make, because he got limited he got held back by the Panthers defense. Yes, he got that touchdown. Everybody's like, well, he scored a touchdown.
I know, but he also got hit on that the one that went over his head. That would have been a touchdown on like the first play. But yeah, you're right. He didn't do anything until the fourth quarter when he scored the tying score.
So what they proved was that, if you have someone like Josh Norman who's not afraid to press the line, you can get in his head and possibly slow him down. And as our friend Corey Pierce said on a previous episode of
Core Forbid,
he said the same thing. He said you got to, not in a sense like punch him, but you got to punch him at the line. You need to knock him out at the line. You need to break down his steam because he's too quick.
Well, we're going to have to take a quick commercial break before we get into the rest of this Giants-Redskins matchup.
Are you unemployed looking for that perfect job, going back to school, or exploring a new career? Then it's time to visit newcodelogic.com. At Job Search Logic, we'll not only help you search and apply to any job, but do all the work involved to get you that new job. That's newcodelogic.com. Our strong, long-term devotion with all of our clients means a new world of possibilities for your new career. Get on the inside track to finding your new job today. That's newcodelogic.com. We have the connections and industry expertise to offer you the best jobs at the world's leading companies. Visit us today.
All right, but this is Voice of Bedlam Live. I'm your host, Andrew Santoro. We got Devil John on the mic and on the boards on the All In Sports Network, and we're talking Giants-Redskins Week 3 NFL action. So, John, why don't you continue?
Well, honestly, like I said, Redskins fan Corey Pierce is going to be watching this game very closely, so it would have been kind of interesting to hear his voice and his commentary on this. But
it's his birthday, right?
Yeah, it's his birthday, and I'll be at his party later. Which once we wrap up here, I'm going to have to drive cross state to get there. But it's going to be fun to link up with my brothers again. But onward with what he was saying. He was saying that if you get Odell Beckham at the line, you get in his head and you stop his steam, then he's not able to make those post moves because he's a quick receiver. And as we saw in that
Odell
game,
Beckham is lightning fast.
Correct. If you get him at the line, though, as we saw, you limit his production.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but I think that goes to any wide receiver. But yeah, it does seem like, and especially with the whole Norman thing, it really put a sign on his back. But I really want to see how he adapts. But we got to talk about the game, the actual football game, the other 10 people on each side of the field. And to help us do that, we're going to reference Pro Football Focus. And let's see how Pro Football Focus is seeing Eli Manning in this matchup. Now, going against the Redskins, they're seeing Eli Manning at an 86.5 overall. Now, that's his ranking of the of this far during the season.
Yeah, thus far.
But the person I really want to talk about is one of the guys that he'll be throwing it to. And no, it's not Odell Beckham Jr. It's none other than rookie wide receiver Sterling Shepard. Now, Pro Football Focus sees Sterling Shepard with an overall grade of 79.7. Now, that's enough to make him the 10th highest graded wide receiver in all of Pro Football, according to ProFootballFocus.com. Now, his snap count has gone up during his first 2 weeks. His first week with 53 snaps, I believe.
Yes,
53 snaps, and 75 the following week. Giants getting a lot of snaps off there.
Yeah, that's a
and going 3 wide. I mean, he's on the playing field more than 80% of the time. Now, let's look at some of his stats.
Well, Sterling Shepard, from what I saw, he's dealing with a lot less coverage. Odell, has a lot of, that star quality that, defenses already prepared for. Now, Sterling Shepard comes in with this kind of like rookie oddball. It's like, is he going to make mistakes? I don't know. He's a rookie. Should we prepare for him? Well, what do we have on him? Well, we got college tape. And it's like, well, now you only have 2 games to work with that, of his route running ability, his run blocking ability and his pro status right now.
Yeah, well, Sterling Shepard, I mean, he is playing on the field, like I said, in both the run and the pass. He was on the field for 28 running snaps in week 2 and on the field for 22 running snaps on week 1. So I think he comes off, to me, he seems like he could be a scrappy kid. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He looks young. He's got a baby face. They got to get him a little bit more meaty like they did to Victor Cruz. But on the season, he has 11 receptions for 160 yards with 1 touchdown. Now, not only is Odell Beckham freeing up some space for Sterling Shepard, but so is Victor Cruz. Now, Victor Cruz, coming off this injury, I really didn't even think he was going to be on the team. Yeah, not that I didn't think he was going to be on the team, but I gave him, right before he practiced, I said if he doesn't practice tomorrow and play in this next upcoming preseason game, the Jets game, I said he's not on the team. But he did play. He did play.
I just think it's kind of funny how it went from, is Victor Cruz going to play this year for the Giants to he's
putting up some yards. Now, he had this terrible fumble. One of these 3 boneheaded fumbles the Giants had in last week's outing with the New Orleans Saints, where they lost 3 fumbles in 1 half. But Victor Cruz in that game put up 91 yards off 4 receptions to no touchdowns, having a touchdown in the first game of 4 receptions, 34 yards with a nice little 23-yard long. He had a big catch in the New Orleans game, a 40-yarder. So, I mean, you really, I don't know. Like, Cruz, that's what's good. He doesn't have to be the number 1, but you still got to respect him. And all the attention's really on Beckham, and Sterling Shepard can just line up in that slot and just go right underneath. They have been using Cruz mostly in the slot as well, though.
Yeah, well, honestly, they got to move the ball around a lot, but not only that, most importantly, as you just said, they got to hold on to the ball, and especially when you're there's not too many people, though, on that Washington defense, though, that really put too much fear into me, though. You got Norman, obviously, but other than Norman, who out there has a high enough grade to, be
well, it really is.
Of.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk fantasy for a second, again, I think the play this week is definitely Shepard or Cruz. And now, Norman and Beckham is going to be all the hype. And talking about grades, now, Pro Football Focus sees Norman considerably higher than Odell Beckham Jr. Norman with a 91.6 overall grade, and Odell Beckham Jr. with a 74.2. Now, that 91.6 for Josh Norman makes him the highest ranked cornerback in the league. Now, I mean, do you still see Josh Norman as a shutdown corner? Because there was a lot of talk made about him having to play Antonio Brown, who we really didn't see him
that much.
But I mean, pre-game hype, and the other talk was Des Bryant, and the other talk was Odell Beckham. So is he going to do it? Is he going to continue? They're seeing him as the best corner in the league.
What's the record? That's how you can tell.
Yeah, but we're looking at, I hear what you're saying, but we're looking at it from an individual perspective. That would be like saying Barry Sanders was a terrible running back.
Nobody would say that, I would hope.
Exactly, but he was on a team that could never do it. You said look at the Redskins' record being 0-2.
Yeah, if you're, he's the star there now. There's not, like I said, there's not too much supporting cast there.
Yeah, he's not playing with Kuechly and Thomas Davis and that Short.
Yeah, that offensive line, just the front 4 alone is
defensive line.
Yeah, the front 4. Yeah, right, because they're in the.
You said that offensive line. You said
yeah. My bad. Dang. Say, lining up though. You need that pressure, and Norman also had the great help of Coleman behind him. So, who's got his back? Hall?
Well, I mean, Hall is the safety, but I mean, on the other side, they got, like you said, Breland and Phillips. They got Burton also playing the strong safety, so I guess Hall is going to have to be over top. No, I don't think Hall's going to be over top of Norman. I think they're going to have enough faith in Norman, and they're going to stick him to him by himself, and as long as Odell doesn't go off early, I don't think he's going to start out with free safety help. I don't. I bet you they might roll coverage the other way and see what happens.
Well, I guess. Well, only time will tell what happens, honestly. But
I think when they start out, though, I don't think they're going to put all the attention on Odell Beckham. I think they're really going to see if Josh Norman could best him in the beginning. We'll have to see, though. But let's wrap up the daily breakdown, and we can get into a nice little segue here before we get into this week's 4-Minute Hut. 4-Minute Hut. A little late on that one, my man. This week.
I know.
4-Minute Hut. All right. Okay. Well, this is kind of fizzing out now. Our 4-Minute Hut is our topic discussion here.
We haven't used it in a while.
Voice of Bedlam Live. Well, because we've had so much real football to talk. It's our little topic discussion, and what we're going to be doing as we preview this Sunday's matchups, we're going to be looking especially at teams who could potentially go 0-3. Because if you go 0-3, your chances of making it to the playoffs are almost non-existent. It's like a 2.7% chance that you will make the playoffs. It's only been done a couple times in history. The chances of a 1-2 team, so teams that are 0-2 now, potentially 0-3, that win this week, their chances are up over at 27%, considerably higher. So a lot rides on this weekend. And now the Redskins are one of these potential 0-3 teams, and they will be taking on my New York Giants in East Rutherford, New Jersey at MetLife Stadium for their second consecutive home game. Giants 2-0 at the top of the NFC East, Redskins 0-2. John, who do you like in this matchup?
Honestly, I took your boys in that one. I think that the production of Cruz, the production of your rookie, the production of Odell just in general, when he will get, because eventually coverage will break. So
yeah, if they do, with him having single on Norman, Eli will try and target him. It'll be fun if they single him up early. It'll be fun to see what happens because Eli's going to go right to him and Norman's going to be ready.
As long as your running game can hold up some type of numbers.
Well, yeah. Now Rashad Jennings is questionable. Actually, I believe he's doubtful for the game, and it looks like Shane Vereen might be getting the start. That's why Rashad Jennings saw limited playing time. He was had a cast earlier in the week, but it's off now. But John, who do you like in this matchup? The Giants?
Yeah, I like the G-Man.
So what score?
Let's see. I'll have to say maybe like 24-14.
Okay, all right. So you got the Giants winning by double digits. I will also take the Giants. I think it will be a good, fair matchup between Odell and Norman. I think this time we'll really get to see the guys play football instead of acting like they're on WWF. And I think the Giants will. I think this game might. I think the Giants are going to win a little bit more one-sided. Redskins offense not really doing much of anything at all. Kirk Cousins look terrible. I'm going to say the Giants come out with a I'm going to give them a 27-14 lead.
All right, so you go with one more field goal than I did? Okay.
You said, what did you say?
24-14?
I'm going to go 27-14.
Yeah, so you're like, yeah, he boots a field goal. Mine's a little bit more.
Okay, so let's move on to another potential 0-3 team. And now that's Rex Ryan and the Buffalo Bills up in Orchard Park, New York. Now they'll be taking on the 1-1 Arizona Cardinals coming out of the NFC West. Now here's a little thing. Out of both West divisions, AFC and NFC West, there are no winless teams. The worst teams in that division being 1-1. So the 1-1 Cardinals will take on the 0-2 Buffalo Bills. Now, is there any way Buffalo can resurrect their season with a win here, John?
Unfortunately, Arizona is firing on all cylinders. I know that's a statement that's usually used a lot, but honestly, they really are. The defense is, putting up stops, getting turnovers, and not only that, their offense is putting up points. And if the reports are true, this might be the last time we see Larry Fitzgerald put on a football jersey. So, he's playing with a lot of passion, and I'm sure that he's translated that inside.
What do you mean this might be the last time?
Because there was reports that this is going to be his last season.
Oh, yeah, but this is not his last game, though.
Yeah, but last season. But but when you're playing in your last season, you kind of want to win, and you want to go out on top. So when you
Absolutely.
go, so in
especially
that
after a tough Super Bowl loss like he had with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Exactly. So you're gonna be a little bit more blunt. You're gonna be more straightforward with the approach with your teammates to make sure that everybody's firing on all cylinders, so that you go out the way that you feel that you should.
Now, Larry Fitzgerald has started out on fire. Off 13 receptions, he has 3 touchdowns and 158 yards. Carson Palmer has tossed 5 touchdowns for and 575 yards on 41 completions. Now, as we talked about earlier, David Johnson leading the team in rushing, 28 carries, 134 yards with a 4.8 yard average. Now, let's kick it to the other team, and let's talk Tyrod Taylor here. Now, Tyrod Taylor has thrown for over 400 yards and has 3 touchdowns. Now, those numbers aren't too spectacular. Sammy Watkins, not really producing, a little injury prone. He is 4th on the team in yardage with 63 yards, and he has the 2nd most catches.
Correct.
So, what do you see in store for Sammy Watkins and Tyrod Taylor?
Honestly, Sammy Watkins is still coming back from that foot injury. It doesn't look like it bothers him too much on the playing field, but it definitely causes a half step in a sense. So, with that being said, until that fully heals, which if he's going to keep running on it, it's probably going to keep aggravating it, causing it to kind of be a lingering injury. And if anybody's ever gotten turf toe, you know exactly how that feels. And honestly, they need him. I think Goodwin is a decent wide receiver in his place. As a I guess you can say a star. And honestly, he's only going to do so much.
Goodwin's just got really big catches, though. He's only got 2 catches on the season, but he has 112 yards and a touchdown.
But when you have your top wide receiver down, right?
Yeah, you need to get it from somewhere.
You need to get it from somewhere.
Yeah, Charles Clay.
I would look for.
Charles Clay seems to be, I think, a little bit more reliable, though, with 7 receptions, 67 yards. But I don't know. So, are you taking Arizona in this game?
Am I taking Arizona in this game? Most definitely.
Yes, I am as well. I'm sorry, Rex. I don't think this is going to end well for you. I don't think it's going to end well for Rob. I don't think that was ever a good move. The Saints defense was terrible. I know Rob Ryan says, it really wasn't his fault, it wasn't his team, it wasn't his playbook, but everybody else seems to disagree with him. Yeah. Buffalo hasn't really proved it. Rex made a coaching change. It was a little early, and I don't understand why you fire a man after he puts up 31 points. But let's move on Voice of Bedlam Live. I'm your host, Andrew Santoro. We're on the All In Sports Talk Network. Now, remember to hit up voiceofbedlam.com. Check out all our awesome posts. We got about 7 writers on the site now, and you guys can get links to our podcast. If you missed any part of this show, go to voiceofbedlam.com. Now, we have audio podcast and video podcast on YouTube. Please subscribe. Just click one of the links. You'll be able to watch the show in its entirety from voiceofbedlam.com, or tune in Tuesday and Friday nights to the All In Sports Talk Network. You guys can get the app from the Play Store and the Apple Store. So hope to see you guys there. Let's move on to 2 0-2 teams. 2 teams that could potentially go 0-3, and that is the Miami Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns. I see Miami coming out on top in this one. And now I see the Miami Dolphins as a considerably better team than the Cleveland Browns. And, Miami is 0-2, but in a matchup between 2 bad teams, I don't think either one of these teams is going to resurrect their season. The Dolphins are playing in the East, and the Patriots are kicking people's teeth in, and we don't even know who their quarterback's going to be.
Speaking of the Patriots, the Dolphins were moving the ball on the Patriots towards towards, obviously like in more of a garbage time type of situation, but still moving the ball against them. And I could see that being a good motivational, like kind of momentum shifter for the next game, because they're going to need it, because as you said, starting off 0-3 is not the way, to the postseason.
Now, also like the Patriots, Cleveland cannot get a quarterback with Josh McCown also falling into injury after RG3.
If you want, I'm going to quit the show and go play quarterback real quick for the Cleveland Browns. Right. But I'm sorry, guys, I just won't be able to come back either, because I'll be so hurt, because they're going to get me hurt.
Now, McCown had 20 completions for 33 yards and 2 touchdowns in his short time playing over the first 2 weeks. The Browns, man, I mean, they can never seem to get out of their own way. I see Miami winning by a landslide, to be honest. I think, well, right now it's Ryan Tannehill leading the team with 52 yards on the ground. So we're going to need some guys to step up, but it seems like an opportune time for Miami to get their first win over a bad team in Cleveland. Jarvis Landry, Miami's leading receiver, 17 receptions, 194 yards. What is going on with Arian Foster, my man? Like I said before this, before he even got signed, I said it would be a while till he gets signed, and it was. And I said I really didn't think he was going to do anything. I don't think his heart's in it anymore. Even prior to last season, he was thinking about retirement because of the injury he sustained. Yeah. And I just think when you're that close to injury, and with the exception of his rushing title year when he had the rushing yard.
Yes.
Yeah, I really don't see what he's done. I think he's always been a little bit more hype, and he hasn't.
It was 2010 that he did that, so it was. It's been 6 years.
That's what I'm saying. And but he did follow it up with a 1,200-yard season, a 1,400-yard season. But for the past 4 or 5 years, he's really just been injury prone, and he really hasn't been able to do it. And he has 13 attempts, or 16 attempts on the year, and 47 yards, no touchdowns, with a lost fumble.
Yeah, honestly, I also have the Miami Dolphins winning at home against the Cleveland Browns, and I think it's gonna be a good game for Ryan Tannehill. So
I agree.
So if you have him in fantasy, I'd start him.
All right, now let's move over to Jacksonville and the Ravens. Now Jacksonville 0-2 AFC South, playing AFC North Baltimore Ravens, who are 2-0 in 2 magical comeback wins. Now, is this the week the Ravens fall off? Can we see the Jaguars save their season? You know what? I'm going to go yes. I'm going to say the Jaguars squeak out a win. The Ravens have not looked good. When you're coming back in the fourth quarter, it's great for the highlight reel, but it really shows the weaknesses in your team. I think the two Allens may be able to capitalize in this game, squeak out their first win of the season, and finally resurrect the Jaguars. John, you disagree?
No, I completely disagree, and this is how much I disagree. I got rid of my Raiders defense in my other fantasy league, and I picked up the Baltimore Ravens defense.
Yo, I use them all the time in daily fantasy. I do.
They've
been playing some bad teams.
Yes, but honestly, they are going to have a great game against Blake Bortles, who, let's not forget, he likes to throw a lot of picks.
Now, I don't know. I think, yes, Blake Bortles did lead the league last year in interceptions, but he also threw for, I believe, 34 touchdowns.
Yeah, but if you're throwing up picks in games, that could be a decider of whether or not you win or you lose. Because especially if it's towards the stretch, once that quarterback, as a quarterback, you cannot make, you have to make a split decision, obviously, because the plays usually around 3 to 4 seconds is around where the release should be in order to not get pummeled. All right. So with that being said, you also have to make sure that you looked and found the right person to get that pass. But honestly, he just doesn't. He makes really good choices or is his wide receivers just that good, and they make him look that good.
Now, he has 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, 649 yards on the year. Now, last year, his interceptions were a league-high 18 with 35 touchdowns, not 33 as I originally thought, 35 touchdowns to 18 interceptions last year. Yeah, to the 18 interceptions, 3-3 on this year. I'm going with the Jags in this one. I think they're going to squeak out a win. They're not as bad. People had a lot of hope in the Jags. People were looking at the Jags and the Raiders. The Raiders don't look as bad as the Jags, but the Raiders aren't living up to their hype. I was on both of their bandwagons to at least be playoff contenders. I didn't think they were going to go to the Super Bowl, but the Jags, I think they will resurrect their season with a win, and I think they're going to nudge their way into the playoff conversation once November comes around, once we get 3 quarters through the season about.
And if everybody was listening on Tuesday when we made our Joker pick'ems, you already know that I'm going with the Ravens over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So go to jokerjoker.com and put in promo code Bedlam.
And play with us.
Okay, but let's keep things moving here, and let's go over and talk Indianapolis Colts taking on the 1-1 Chargers. I think Indy will also win this matchup, but John, who are you taking, and
I get the Colts.
why? Yeah, the Colts. Why
the Colts? Because the Bolts. Although Melvin Gordon is showing up and he's doing fairly well.
He did in week 1. He did in week 1.
Yes, but with Danny Woodhead being out now, he's going to be the number 1 guy there, and he's going to have to step up, and I think he's the right guy to step up. Especially with a year off due to injury, he's going to be able to come back somewhat fresh. Honestly, the Travis Benjamin is going to be double covered, and I don't see. I could see it being a high-scoring game, though. It's gonna be like an Old West style shootout.
Now, Melvin Gordon, when they played Kansas City, had 57 yards and 2 touchdowns. When he played the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 2, a lot more attempts, 10 more attempts, 24 yards, 24 attempts, 102 yards with a 4.3 average, 21-yard long and a touchdown. So, yeah, he had a really nice week 2 as well. I mean, Melvin Gordon was a huge disappointment in his rookie year, playing in 2 games, getting 38 attempts, 159 yards. Excuse me, in his rookie year, playing in 14 games, starting 12 of them, only going for 641 yards, no touchdowns on the season in his rookie year.
Yeah, I don't see the production being that high. Much higher than I would say about 80 yards. I think he's going to get about 80 yards cap.
Okay. Now, so you're going to cap him off at 8, but why? Indy's got no defense. Why doesn't he go off for $130 and 2 scores?
Because they're going to try to throw it up to Travis a lot, I believe. I think that's what they're going to be game planning a lot. Is that mismatch in the secondary?
Now, I don't know. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the Indianapolis games? We both agree.
Yeah.
So is there anything we've disagreed on so far? We're both taking Arizona. We're both taking the Dolphins.
I got the Ravens.
Oh, okay. So we disagree on the Jacksonville and the Ravens game. We both agree with the Colts. Let's look at the 0-2 Bears taking on the 1-1 Cowboys. I'm going to put my money on Dak Prescott in this game. I'm going to put my money on the young squad they got there in Dallas and Ezekiel Elliott behind that offensive line.
Yeah, we can stop trying to think alike here because, I also agree that the Cowboys are going to win.
I mean, granted, we are looking at the 0-2 team, so we're looking at the bottom of the NFL, the bottom third right now, basically. But with these teams, now remember, if you go 0-3, your chances are only 2.7 2.7% chance of making the playoffs.
So not even a full 3.
So yeah, it's ridiculous. So it's really hard to bounce back from an 0-3. So we're looking at 0-2 teams on Voice of Bedlam Live at the All In Sports Talk Network. I'm your host, Andrew Santoro, and as always, I got my main man with me, Devil John, on the mic and on the boards. Make sure you guys check out voiceofbedlam.com. Hit up our blog. Check out our podcast. Check out our video podcast. We got a lot of good material on there for you guys, and you guys could also, there's a spot in there where you could sign up and maybe start contributing to voiceofbedlam.com. So make sure you guys email staff at voiceofbedlam.com for more information. With that being said, let's move on to the Washington. We already talked about the Washington Redskins and the New York Giants. Obviously I'm taking the Giants. Yes, I've said that. And now we have the 0-2 Saints taking on the 1-1 Falcons. This is a divisional matchup, and I see the Saints coming out on top, finally putting it together for the first time all year. What do you see him as, John?
As much as I would like to see the Saints win it, I think Atlanta's going to best them this time. They'll get the next game, though, against the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, last week I got a good look at New Orleans. The Giants' D really shut them down. Now, I'm not saying that the Giants' D is way better than it was last year yet. I hope it is. It looks to be. Or is the Saints' offense that terrible? Let's not forget, the Giants gave the Saints the ball 3 times. 3 times. And when Eli Manning fumbled, a play that should not have been ruled a fumble, it was very close to the end zone, and the Giants' D held them to the field goal. And so, I don't know. The Saints, though, I do think their offense can't possibly be that bad. They do still have Drew Brees. And let's really take a look here at the Saints' schedule and see if they have any chance of making the playoffs. Now, with the Saints facing the Falcons, John, first of all, who are you taking?
I'm taking the Falcons.
Okay, you're going to take the Falcons, so you're basically saying the Saints are dead then, correct?
The Saints will be dead, unfortunately.
All right. Well, hypothetically, I'm going to say the Saints win, okay, at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Yep. And then next week, they get a game off San Diego. No, next week they go to San Diego.
San Diego, sorry.
Next week they go to San Diego.
Then they get a bye week.
And I think that San Diego is going to be playing off of a loss in that game because I don't see them winning in week 3. And I think New Orleans will also cause San Diego to get their second straight loss. And I do think the hype will change a little bit when they get up to Carolina. I don't see New Orleans besting Carolina, but I do see them facing Carolina at 2-2.
Yeah, and they're at home. Carolina usually, doesn't do too well in the dome, but things can change things. But I don't see them losing this game and then winning out the rest of them to get them back into the playoff picture.
Well, I mean, they don't have to win the rest of them. I do see them being 2-2, though. I think they're going to win 2 straight.
You think 2? Yeah. And then start out, and then the dogging talks will end out, I guess.
Yeah, but then they're going to play Carolina, and it'll be like, the Saints can beat bad teams. And that's what the talk will be.
Speaking of Carolina, they're going up against the Vikings. Who do you got?
Oh, I'll take Carolina. I do not have faith in Sam Bradford. Stephon Diggs has been playing extremely nice, but no Adrian Peterson, no wins.
All right, since we're running a little low on time now, do you just want to run through the rest of these?
Well, why don't you give me your breakdown on the Panthers game, and then we'll spitfire the
Honestly,
rest of
I think that with Jonathan Stewart being out, the split carries between Fozzie Whitaker and Cameron Artis-Payne is going to be just enough to punch up against the number 1 scoring defense.
All right, so we're both taking Carolina in that matchup. This is Andrew Santoro on the Voice of Bedlam live from voiceofbedlam.com on the All In Sports Talk Network. We're going to run through the rest of these games. Now, I do think Oakland will continue their winning streak when they visit the Titans. How say you, John?
I got Oakland.
Oakland as well. Okay, and now we have the Lions facing NFC NFC North rival Packers. This is an easy one for me. I got to go with the Cheeseheads.
I go cheese.
I go cheese. All right, now we got a good game. Denver Broncos at the Bengals.
Cincy.
Dude, we think way too much alike. This is going to be terrible radio. I'm tempted to take the Broncos just
because
it's different. I mean, what do we disagree on? We pretty much just agree
Ravens
on
game, yeah.
Ravens, Jags. But you know what? I'm not going to make myself wrong just to disagree with you. I will also be taking the Bengals. I will also be taking the Panthers. But Rams, Rams made some noise last week. How do you see the Rams facing against Sam Stock's Buccaneers?
I got them beating an old division rival. Because
who beating?
Yeah, the Rams. I have the Rams
taking out
the Tampa
Bucks?
Bay Bucks. Yeah, because
all right, we disagree here, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think that after that embarrassing loss, they realized where they needed to pick up, and they picked up very well, and they showed up, and I think that momentum from that game is going to kind of bleed into this one.
No, I'm going to have to put my money on Jameis Winston and Mike Evans. Now, Duggernaut will not be in the game, falling to injury. So, but I do think Evans will be able to put it together with Jameis Winston as he did in the fourth quarter of Week 1 action. I don't have any faith in the Rams. I'm sorry, I just don't. Okay, I'm going Bucks all day.
So then we defer now.
All right, now Seattle with no offense whatsoever. Seattle scored 1 touchdown in 8 quarters of football. San Francisco has not been as terrible as everyone thought.
Correct.
Who do you got in this one, in this divisional matchup?
I have the Seahawks getting their first win.
I don't think the Seahawks have an offense. I don't think they grew one. I'm fine with football players being outspoken and political, but I really think the Seahawks are concentrating on other things besides football, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And not that there's anything wrong with the social issues that they're standing up for. Someone needs to do it. But looking at it from a football perspective, I don't see them besting out the 49ers and Blaine Gabbert. I am taking Blaine Gabbert over the Seattle Seahawks defense.
All right.
But I'm sticking with it.
You're sticking with it. What about the Chiefs and Jets?
I think I'm going to have to go with my gut here and go Jets. I mean, the Chiefs, I always want to say they're good.
I'm going
and
with the Chiefs at home.
Chiefs at home. I mean, that home, yeah, KC, that is a hard place to play. It almost makes me want to change my picks. I mean, that's how you get that little 3-point swing for the home field advantage when betting the spread. But I'm going to go with my gut and stick with the Jets. Now, we've talked about the Chargers. Let's get a quick second here about the PA Bowl. Once every 4 years, Steelers visiting cross-state rivals.
We'll make this quick.
Philadelphia
Steelers.
Eagles. Yes, I agree. I see Big Ben as better than Carson Wentz. I see Antonio Brown better than every wide receiver in the league.
Pennsylvania versus Pennsylvania.
D'Angelo Williams, he seems to be the ageless wonder now. He does.
Back, right?
He is a little injury prone. Not this
come
year.
Back, right?
Which week?
Isn't he allowed to come back in the third game?
Yeah. He was only suspended for 2 games. Is Le'Veon back on the roster?
No. This is, no, he had a 3-game suspension.
Yeah, so he would.
Sorry.
Yeah, so he won't be. I was just saying anything about that.
So, but D'Angelo Williams is a good.
Yeah, he is. D'Angelo Williams, when stepping in for someone, I mean, he seems like he could have been really special if it wasn't for the injuries. But playing in a limited role for a couple weeks a year, I mean, he is really nice. He can really put up some good numbers. Let's talk Chicago Bears at Cowboys. We already talked Chicago Bears at Cowboys.
Yeah, but
I'm taking the Cowboys.
I got the Cowboys as well, especially at home in Jerry World.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, though, because the Cowboys' home field advantage isn't really an advantage for most teams, because when people go to an away game, one of the attractions almost, if you want to call it, that they want to see is Jerry's Palace. And there's been plenty of times where I've heard the opposing names team name being chanted while Dallas was down in the fourth quarter.
Well, it's a huge stadium, and there's a lot of seats to fill.
And there's a lot of sun glare. What is up with the sun glare?
No, that's because they leave it open.
They are the highest valued sports franchise in the world now.
No,
I believe it's 4.3 billion.
No,
the Giants
they can
are
get
in
back
third.
to the 90s when they were worth it.
The Giants 4.3 billion for the Cowboys, 3.7 for the Patriots, 4.1 for the Giants, and that'll wrap up this week's show. Now, once again, thanks for tuning in to Voice of Bedlam Live. I'm your host, Andrew Santora. You've been hanging out with me and Devil John for the past hour, talking about some NFL football, previewing Week 3's action, recapping the Thursday night football game. Hope you guys like the show. Please head over to voiceofbedlam.com. Check out all our stuff over there. If you missed any part of this show, you can hear it in its entirety in podcast form on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, voiceofbedlam.com. Head over to YouTube, get the link from our site, get over to our channel, check out the show on video. It's awesome. Make sure you guys check out. What's up, John?
Or you can listen to us on the All In Sports. Man, come on. All day sports, all day.
There you go,
get to
24
hear,
hours a day.
And not only that, you'll get to hear our voices representing pro football. That's great. I like that. Thank you, All In Sports.
All right, guys. Well, I hope to see you next Tuesday. Tune into Voice of Bedlam Live Tuesday and Friday nights, All In Sports Talk Network. I'm Andrew Bedlam. For John, my man Devil John, we're getting the hell out of here. Peace.